Sam, my boy.
Dad?
Get up. Look at you, man. Give your dad a hug. How you doing?
Good.
You don't dance with your dad. I'm suggesting that the court ordered a 30-day psychiatric evaluation at Patton State Hospital.
Hi, this is Administrator Romero with the Youth California Authority.
I'm telling you, they're drugging those kids and abusing them in the worst way.
I don't need no meds. I don't want no meds. I have the right to say no. So no, I'm...
Do you realize how many witnesses there were? There was literally patients watching the whole thing go down.
I'm not going down for this. I need to know you're with me, man.
Sam didn't deserve this. What happened to him happens all the time, but we never get no coverage, you know? And he didn't deserve to be treated like that. He was mentally ill. It's an illness. It's not a crime.
When are you gonna start talking again?
What's up, everybody? This is Fidel of Talking Again Podcast. We're here for another edition of the show. Welcome to the Tap.
Thank you for having me out.
How are you?
I'm great.
Let me introduce you guys to Angel Rae Romero.
How you doing?
She is the director, the producer,
the writer, and
producer.
the writer and producer and executive producer.
Of the movie, of the film Sam's Cry.
Yes.
Well, you guys just saw the trailer right now. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode because we're gonna try to get into the making of Sam's Cry. Why? It's based on a true story, correct?
Yes, it is.
So we're gonna find out a little bit about the story and then why it's so important to you to be a part of this project.
Okay.
All right.
That's fine.
Let's talk a little bit about your history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you start in the movie industry? Where is it that you started? And
I actually started with, I was a hair and makeup artist for film and television and theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for a big corporate, Disney. I worked there for 25 years of my life and put a lot of emphasis in, behind the scenes, behind theater, behind network, behind filming, stuff like that. So, but I didn't take an interest at all about filming. It was strictly nothing but hair and makeup, special effects, and prosthetics and stuff like that. But it wasn't until 2017 that I was addressed about making a movie. And I've been behind the scenes of making film, I'll be honest with you. I always thought it was kind of boring, to be honest with you. Yeah. And it was only because it was such long days, and coming from my part as a hair and makeup artist, it was long days, a lot of sit and wait, But when I was given this opportunity to write and produce this movie, it meant a lot to me because it's been a long time message that needs to be told. Was
this the film that they introduced you, the 17? This is the first film that you've worked on?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's the first time I ever wrote and produced and executive producer on it. It was my first time ever doing something like this.
So this really is the project that got you to that whole writing and directing bug. You had no interest in doing this kind of work.
Not at all.
What was it about this specific story right here that pulled your strings?
What pulled my strings behind this was it was a prophet. Mm-hmm. Prophets are kind of a biblical kind of term for someone who can actually see something coming into your future, basically. Okay. A lot of people kind of mistaken them as fortune tellers. They're not fortune tellers. Yeah. So this prophet prophesied over me that I was going to write and produce a movie and that it was going to send out waves.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I got. And this person was actually from Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
So he had no inclination about my history or anything about my life.
Is this someone that you met online? Like on a live?
Yeah.
Really?
I met him on, he shoot me this message and said that, that God showed him that I was going to write and produce a movie.
Wow.
Isn't that something? That's what I said.
Yeah.
And he dropped the information in my messenger, my message box. It wasn't that he said it verbally. He left.
He didn't
it
ask you to deposit like a lump sum of money.
Oh
into
no,
a
not
bank
at
account?
all.
Okay, I just want to make sure. 'cause
Some
you just say
do.
Nigerian, you know?
Some do.
Yeah.
Some have. And no, he didn't.
Yeah.
He just said that, that God showed him that I was going to write and produce a movie and that it was going to cause waves. And he said, and go pray about it and see what the Lord shows you.
Wow.
Well, I knew right off the bat who it was. And
How did you know right off the bat who that was?
because we, in 2003, like almost maybe I would say about 4 years after the incident, I tried to pitch it with somebody else to see if they can write the story.
Yeah.
And they didn't find no interest at that time.
Yeah.
And I think because of the stigma of mental health. Mental health.
And this was 2003?
Mental health back in the time, it just had a stigma.
It was a taboo. We don't talk
Oh,
about
yeah,
that.
you don't talk about that.
Especially with men.
Oh, yeah. You're crazy.
Yeah. For women, it was okay, right? For some reason, it was okay. Ta loca, ta bien, you know? But for men, you couldn't talk about that. You can't talk about your feelings.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. And so, yeah, it is a stigma. And I think we failed our society behind that. I think we failed our communities. I think we failed mental health.
Yeah.
We failed an organ in our body that has so much importance as well as like our kidneys and our heart, and, everything that we take care of, but we forget about taking care of our mind.
Why do you think we neglect that?
Why do we neglect that?
Yeah.
God, I have no idea. I think it's just lack of knowledge, lack of information, just not being educated.
Yeah.
Education takes you far when you know.
Especially us Latinos. Like, that's just one of those things that we didn't talk about, like.
No, you didn't.
You don't talk about your feelings, and we've talked about this in the podcast before, but eres macho, tienes que ser macho, right?
Yes.
And even women, it was also like, you don't put it out there, and maybe something to the comadre here or two, but it wasn't something that you talk about.
Exactly.
You keep dirty laundry here at home.
Yes. Well,
So-
we're raised like that.
Yes.
I mean, what's our parents' first things that they tell us? If you start crying, you don't cry us. I'll hit you.
Yeah.
I'll hit you more. Make you cry more.
Yeah. I'll
and
give you something to cry about.
Yeah, I'll give you something to cry
Yeah.
about. And we're like suppressed like that, not to express what's bothering us, not to express. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And I think that's even when you're going through like a difficult time, depends on the parents, what they were raised in and stuff like that. But even when it comes to like, say, in the home of domestic violence or things that occur in the home, those are the things you don't tell your parents, that you're having trouble in your, at home with your kids or your marriage. Those are things that you keep within your own home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think when you do that, you kind of you're like holding all that in.
Yeah.
And then when the time comes, when all that pressure comes, you just explode. And that's what stress does.
Like a big soda bottle just.
Yes, exactly. So, a little bit of all that, the lifestyle or however you live in your home and what you bring into the home, and it reflects on your whole family.
Yeah.
A family unit.
Right.
It reflects all
Yeah.
that. So, but yeah, I decided to.
2003, someone said, "Nah, we're not going to do that. Or it's not in our interest." Now, fast forward almost 20 years later, what got you to go, well, you know what? Maybe it's me. Was it just a profit or?
No, it was a profit because I had not even thought about anything
Okay.
like this. And from 2003, it was like a done deal. It was not even thought about no more. Like it was just, that was it. It wasn't until 2017 when a prophet had inboxed me on my messenger and gave me that word. We in the church, we call it a word, and he told me to pray about it. But as I said, Sam's the first person that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Like right away. Like he dropped in my spirit really quick. And I reached out to some family members and asked them if what they thought about me writing his story and producing it. And they gave me their blessings.
Yeah.
And because I didn't want to do something against anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put out anything because it's a sensitive story.
Right.
And it's about someone's family member. And I shared, and they said, yeah, and they gave me their blessings, and I just,
So when you're saying that you reached out to some family, that was for Sam's family?
I reached out to a couple, to
Okay.
Sam's family. And
So
I
do you have a direct connection with them?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But at the same time, there's so many things that legal aspects. There's certain things that we can't talk about, but
okay.
but other than that, myself, being that it is a public information, I went ahead and decided to write his story, and I did it more for Sam.
Yeah.
I focused on Sam, of what he went through. I knew Sam. He was 11 years old when I met him. I was 15. I was like about 4 years older than him. So I knew Sam, and I know his history, know his family, know everything. And I decided to just take that challenge and to go ahead and write his story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, were you, because you've known him for so long, I assume you had somewhat of a relationship with the family. Were you involved at any way during the protests and during that time?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you were?
Oh, yeah. We were out there.
So you were, boots to ground.
Oh yeah, in the trenches with the family, behind signs, and my daughter even came along with her signs as well to go to the federal building and all the areas that we needed to protest, whether it be at the hospitals or mental health places. We took everything we had to make awareness behind all this. Yeah.
What is the awareness? Let's talk about that, because we do know that Sam's Cry, it's a story that must be told, right?
Yes.
So what is it? Let's tell it now. Let's get started with that.
Well, when it comes to mental health, I think we all should be educated upon people on trigger points, in their mindset, because sometimes you can be in a conversation and someone that has PTSD it could trigger them, like a smell, an incident, taking you back to that trauma. Yeah. And it could trigger you to the point where it brings these emotional distress in you, whether it's going to suppress you for that moment, bring you into depression, or is it going to cause you to reflect back and, these are the triggers that even war heroes that deal with. Of course. And, I can remember way back when I used to think about war heroes, and they would be talking about probably in the 90s about PTSD. And I used to think to myself, it can't be that bad. I'm thinking this, right? Right. And they would talk about their flashbacks and their, memories of this or that, of the injury or a blast or, all these things, right? I never, ever suspected that I had PTSD, and I was diagnosed with PTSD in 1999. Oh, wow. Yes. And that was based on my brothers, on the history of gang violence and stuff. So that's... In
your family?
Oh, yeah, in my family. So basically, that's what PTSD does. When you've been traumatized in a certain area in life, and that it's a reflection, and something can just trigger it off. And I can remember even working for Disney at one time. Well, my first years of Disney, and it was late at night, and I wasn't ready for it because no one told me to be ready. Yeah. And I heard this big old bang, and I got scared, and it took me back to all the gunshots.
Oh wow!
Things
right away you found a bed and went underneath.
Yeah.
It? Wow.
I'm serious. That's what it does to you. PTSD will bring traumatizing events, things that will trigger you, and that happens in relationships. Yeah. And some people don't understand that. When people build a relationship and maybe one of the two of the couple is violent.
Oh, yeah. Domestic violence.
And then something that he does or she does triggers that person to say, oh, no, it's a red flag for them. It's not a red flag that they're a red flag. It's a red flag for the individual. Yeah. It's a red flag for them because some people can tolerate stuff like that. Yeah. Some people can endure people's behavior like that.
Some people welcome it.
Yes.
Some people seek it and search it.
Exactly. You get what I'm saying? Right. And some people don't have a problem dealing with someone that is toxic. Yeah. But yet there are those who've been through maybe traumatizing events that the minute someone does something, they get, that trigger. Yeah. And so looking at Sam and his life and what he'd been through, behind domestic violence, behind the years of, the oppression of, two parents butting heads and physically, I relate to him on that. I can relate in so many ways of his life to the point where when it comes to PTSD and the things that you have to do to maintain it, whether it be medicated or counsel or therapy or things like that. Yeah. I found my outlet was the art. I don't know if you know, but there's such a thing as called art therapy. Oh, yeah. And anybody that's in entertainment, I think that's why people gravitate towards entertainment because it is therapy.
It's an escape.
Yes,
from
it
reality,
is. Yes. So you find yourself, gravitating towards the entertainment, towards maybe art or singing or writing, or all that is therapeutic, all of it. So when it comes to Sam's story, you know, he was young, and his father was an entertainer. And that's why in the movie, you know, you'll see all the things that relate to his father. But his mother also was a vocalist as well. She was a worship singer for the church. So you had two different lives here.
Yeah, very talented.
Yeah, both of them talented.
Yeah.
Both. The mother was talented. The father was talented.
Yeah.
And so being that both of them had this, you know, their outlets, but then where do you find your kids' outlets, especially you know, seeing what they've seen in the home as far when it comes to domestic violence. But you had two people living two different lives here.
Yeah.
You got one that was for the church, and then you had one that was all over entertainment, bars, and all over the. Yeah. So, you know, there was going to be some feuding because they're not in harmony together.
Right.
So, you know, those are the things that when you're trying to find someone, you gotta like find each other's interests that you guys can actually support each other for your interests.
Of course.
You know,
and then when you have kids, now it's kind of like pick a side. Do you want to go rock and roll with your dad? Do you want to go gospel over here with mom? You know, so you pick a side, right?
Isn't that awful?
It's a battle.
Yeah, it is a battle. And I don't think it's fair.
No.
I don't think it's fair for the kids. And I think that's where we have to come to, you know, kind of like a balance in life for your children, your family, and because these kids, they're going to be adults one day.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to be the product of society, of what you raised.
Yeah.
You know, they're like the fruit of you, you know, you know, so I always look at it that way as well. And when it comes to raising your kids and raising them to the best that you can, because they are going to be a product of society.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want someone to deal with my child if my child was like, you know, out of order as an adult.
Right.
It's like, that's a reflection of me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. And it's not so much like, you know, they say everybody talks about raising your kid and the correct way of doing it. It's not about what you say and what you're trying to teach them. It's what you're doing, because it's for the longest time we've already known it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Yes.
Kids react to what you're doing in the house.
Yes.
Outside of the house. That's how they eventually grow up to be that same person or a fragment of that. You know?
Yes, exactly. So that's what happened. And I decided, like I said, it was until like 2019 that I actually wrote, even though in 2017 this prophet had prophesied over my life saying that I would. It wasn't until after like 2019 I started to write. And in the writing, my experience was I wept. I wept on the first parts, about maybe the first 80 pages of writing. I was just crying. There was times I would just cry and cry and cry, writing his story, and bringing characters in that I can relate to. That, you know, in that, you know, yes.
It's you know, you talk about characters. The casting in here is, you know, bravo. Okay, it's I feel. Knowing the story, you know, I did a little research on Samuel Rangel, right? And knowing the story, and then you put all these faces together, and then just their roles. I believe that Cristian is his dad. I believe that Vanessa is his mom. You know what I mean? N-Dub is Sam. You know, so when I see that, it's just now it's gonna be hard for me to watch Concrete making these funny videos and then not seeing Sam's dad. Because it's so well casted, you know. So bravo on that.
Oh, thank you.
We have so many actors that are in here. It's a laundry list of them. I'm going to say a few because I think it's important to name some, and I'm going to let you go ahead and throw in some other ones. But Paul Rodriguez, Loretta Vamps, Anthony Fernandez, Mark Krennick, Adam Mendoza, Brian Johnson, Matt Birch. Again, Vanessa, Cristian, and then there's so many other more that we had.
Yes.
Where did you come up with this? Let me just get all these guys together. How did you make it work?
You know, honestly, I really do believe it was God, because after the prophecy, it was literally, I had to be like at God's throne, like literally praying and asking, you know, asking God to lead me. And before I even put my pen to paper to start writing, it wasn't, I think it was like around, it's so funny how this one came out for Cristian. Concrete. I had just lost my mom. Yeah. And I gravitate towards comedy to heal my soul. You know,
we're just talking about escaping a little bit.
Yes, your escape. So comedy has always been a great product for me when it comes to healing. And my mom had just passed away. I believe it was April. of 2019. And at that time, I seen concrete. He had lost his some, I forgot what it was, his camera. He lost everything. Like literally someone stole all his stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. And I related to that. And I gravitate to him losing that someone stole, because someone stole my makeup kit.
Oh, wow.
At one time, I had a whole,
and that's your work.
That was all my work.
Yeah.
And I, not only that, what was most important was my dad's pin from the Army. And I left my dad's pin in the Army. It was like a coin that they gave him, like an award to the family for him being a veteran. And that meant so much to me that I left it in my makeup box. And they stole my whole makeup box. And I was like, God, I mean, the makeup I could replace, but I couldn't replace that pin from my dad as a veteran. And that meant a lot to me. And so when he lost his stuff, I was like, oh, like, and I was the type of person like, man, if I had the money, I'd buy him. You know what I mean? You know, when we're moved by people, when it comes to the art of entertainment and your equipment is gone, oh my God, that's my job. That's my work. That's how I make my bread, you know? So that gravitated towards his story that I felt heartfelt. And then I added him to my, you know, following, like to follow him. And I started looking at all his stuff that he did. And I was just busting up on some of the stuff that when he first started, some of his skits, I was just busting up. One stood out to me really well, which is the one with him and Noel G, where he's going in for an audition. And I can't tell you, when I seen him, because I've been in an experience through Disney when we casted hundreds of people. And when they didn't get the job, we could tell those people how hurt they were when they walked away. Rejection hurts when you're not casted. And that right there, when I seen his video it was a skit between him, Noel G, and it made me laugh, but again I felt heart. He brought me in with his emotions, and I go, this dude's a great actor. Like I felt it from him when he said, man, dude, like, you know, you're always on.
He said like, hey man, give us a chance, right? Like,
did you see that video?
Yeah.
And I was like, I was really like impressed with that. And I go, man, Cristian had to be there. He had to be at that point in his life that he felt the rejection on a casting call. That's what came to me. So I thought, I'm going to give him a lead role. I'm going to ask him if he wants to take a lead role.
Wow, lead role.
You get me? So I told him, and I didn't let him know, but those were my thoughts, because I thought, poor guy, like they probably rejected him so many times. I go, let's give him let's see if he wants to take a part and take a lead role. It's hard for us Chicanos to get lead roles. It is. I mean, Noel G has told me that he's never had a lead role. And he's been in the industry for over 20 something years. Wow. You get me? So it's like,
well, he kind of get that typecast of being Hector, right? In all the movies, right? Like a cholo, right?
That's
like,
it.
That's it.
So then you bring a product of yourself being that look. So basically you're like geared towards that look. So then when they cast you, all they can think of is you're just a homie. You get me? And some of the stories in Hollywood, they're not looking for homies.
Right.
They're not looking for gangsters.
I mean, we're not there anymore. You know what I mean? Like you could play. There's some roles. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's some roles that I've seen that doesn't necessarily require an ethnicity. It's just playing this role. So why not give it to somebody like a Luis Fernandez? You know,
exactly.
You know, like he's really good.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't get it. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to say though, because it's in my thoughts right now, and I don't want to lose it. You have so many comedians in this movie, yet not too many of them are doing comedy, all serious roles, right? So it's kind of hard for like I'm watching this. I'm like, this is supposed to be funny with all these comedians. No, it's not. This is a serious film.
I know.
And for them, this is gonna open up some doors for them. I think.
Yes.
You know because they're able to show their
the other side of their entertainment as an artist, right? Yeah, I thought about that, and the reason why, like I said, I've known people who have, I mean, if you look back, like look at some of them are comedian people that have done some movies, that have done some, you know, film and stuff like that. Like Jim Carrey, he was funny at one time, right? And he ends up on all these kind of movies, but they're funny, but he still ends up in film. You got a lot of people that do that, you know, and as far as the comedians that I have, I thought they would fit well just to be a part of a film. And you know what my goal was too, was because of us Latinos, Chicanos, Mexicanos, because we have lacked that in Hollywood. We've lacked that. And I don't call this a Hollywood movie. I really don't. I call it basically a film, true story, inspirational for many communities. Yeah. You know, and strictly behind mental health, to give them education and knowledge behind it. Other than that, when I think about this film, I think about these people, such as the comedians, like we talked about, that it inspired me that they stepped up. Because I didn't just give it to them. I asked them, would you take this role? Yeah. And they came into agreement to do it. And they wanted to. Yeah. And I said, to me, I felt like this movie will be laid down in history for our people. Oh, good. Yeah. That we paved the way to tell a story behind mental health. Yeah. That we came together to tell Sam's story. Yeah. That we were able to express it, and the actors were able to express this movie to tell Sam's story. The goal was to tell Sam's stories. The goal was never to like bring this, I want to, get fame and I want to be Hollywood. Right. As for me, it wasn't, because I literally laid down my life for this movie. Yeah. And so when I think about Sam's story, the message carries so much weight. The storyline carries weight for all communities, whether it be white, black, brown, you name it, across the nation of other cultures. It brings forth, because mental health is not a race thing. Mental health is not a culture thing. Of course, yeah. Mental health is not like that. Mental health is for many of us, all worldwide, all over the place, all over countries. So being that we are navigating towards like newer things in life, the story needed to be told. And what better yet than to leave history down. I would say on set, this was my quote, and I say this all the time on set, we got to tell our stories. We can't depend on the white community or the black community to tell our stories. Yeah. Because we have to. We have to bring the truth of what took place, because no one tells our stories better than ourselves, right? Our culture to tell our stories. So, but I always said that on set with people to let them know that. And they grasp that, and they realize that, because I mean, look at what you see, on television or big screen and stuff like that. And we need to tell our stories, our histories. We have to leave our kids history. We have to tell our kids what really happened. We can't expect the people to tell our stories anymore like this, So that's what it was. That's how the comedians came aboard. Yeah.
No, there really is an authenticity of the storyline, or actually with the characters. It's real. I'm not watching like an over dramatic role. It's a real role. Like when
they don't sound scripted. They
don't sound scripted. This is what I liked about it. Almost as if you're watching some kind of reality show. You know what I mean? Like a reality documentary. But it was telling the story, and I think it told the story very well from beginning to end. I really enjoyed the film. But was as far as casting, it was done on purpose to get as many Chicanos, Latinos that you can on film, because there is some characters that don't necessarily have an ethnicity that need it. It was just your idea, right, to hire Latinos, because like you said, you wanted to, give our people an outlet.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I purposely and planned when I was casting, because I had no casting director. I casted everyone.
You did this all your own?
On my own. Wow. Yeah. And I casted all the people. And my years of experience with Disney, I mean, I was around entertainers for a long time.
I'm sure you made a lot of contacts, right? You could have called
heck
a whole bunch of people to
Thank
help out
you
with this.
for making that very clear. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm surprised you even said that, because yes, I had other options. I had many options through many years of 25 years of actors that I know that not only just actors, but singers, because a lot of them perform singing and acting. I could have went into that direction. Yes, I could have casted some people that I knew from Disney and kept it Disney. You get me? Right. But I didn't, because I seen that there was a need for our Chicano people. I had people, I'm telling you, I had people in my DMs asking me, do you have any lines for me? I had people say, if I could just be in the background.
Well, I mean, had I known sooner, I would have dropped in a line too.
Right?
The Gordito judge or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because like to put something together, with the storyline and to bring background people as well.
Yeah.
And you have to have an imaginary, visionary process in your head.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just write and then just write it. There also has to be a visionary things of the background, what it looks like. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I did have someone that came in and wanted a spot. And I said, okay. He said, I want to be in the background. And that's all he wanted to do was be in the background.
Oh, wow.
I'll use this one as an example. Okay. And he wanted to be in the background. And I said, yeah, that's fine. He goes, and they were just excited about this project.
Yeah.
They love the fact that it's a true story for one thing.
Yeah.
And so I brought him in, and I kid you not, during the time when we were like going through like the filming and seeing, I seen him do something that I thought, I gotta give him lines.
Yeah.
I just can't just leave him on just the background
Yeah, yeah.
because of what he did. I need to finish why he did that. Okay. And that was not even scripted yet.
Wow.
So I looked, and when I was looking at the film, like, oh my God, he's so Medici right there. I got to give him lines. So I call him Medici.
Yeah.
And I go, just because you were nosy, I had to give you lines, and he laughs, we make fun about it. But yeah, I had to actually create some character lines for him just because he was in the background.
Yeah. Just during the protest?
No, this was during the takedown.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And so basically what he did was he just kind of wanted to be in the camera.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
most of everybody that wants to still be in that camera.
Yeah.
They want to look, get in the movie. Yeah.
Kind of do one of those things.
Yeah.
Right?
One of those things. And he did. And I thought, oh my God, I can't let him just do that. He's got to now I got to make some script for him.
Yeah.
So I did. I made a few lines for him. And most of all the people who've been in entertainment long enough that have been trying to break through Hollywood to get on film time and to get some credits, they know what it takes. And those that don't know are, how do I say it? Like, they don't understand the process, what it takes to climb the ladder in Hollywood as far as in the film industry, because you have to have lines.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're just going to be background for the longest time. And to get lines, it's like gold.
Yeah.
It's diamonds and gold.
That's your starter piece. It's
It
something
is.
that-
And some people just take it for granted.
Yeah.
They take it for granted. And there's those who've been in the industry for over 15 to 20 years that barely came aboard on Sam's Cry.
Oh, wow.
And they've been in the trenches.
Yeah.
They've been there going auditions. They've been there doing all this and doing that and getting their doors slammed on them. That's why I told you, when I seen Christian's video with Noel, all I can think of is, man, this dude's been there.
Yeah.
He's been there. And I know because I've seen it. I've been at auditions with Disney because we have to be there as hairdressers to make them into that look.
Yeah.
So basically, I've seen the auditions. I've seen the lineup. I've seen numbers go out, like number 3, number 4, number 15.
Just a
Bye.
number.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, you're just a number.
You're just a number.
That's it, yeah.
And with casting this whole production, and I want to say there was probably over 60 something actors. Altogether, about good 70 to 76 actors and extras. It's a huge cast.
Wow.
It's a huge cast for a film.
Yeah.
And for a low budget film.
Yeah.
It is.
big-
It's a
is
low
big
budget
cast,
film.
Yeah. No recycled actors.
Yeah.
Or
You
you're
know-
playing 4 roles, because you just got the side view or the back. Right?
I wouldn't say that, but yeah. Oh, okay. No, but anyways, yeah. So basically, it is one of those. It's a low budget film, but yet it had so many actors, and you know what? And I'm proud of them.
Yeah.
I am so proud of them that they all did really well. Some, it was their first time acting.
Yeah.
First time ever even lead acting.
Wow.
And that's Vanessa. Vanessa
Was that her first time?
It was her first.
She was really good.
What
She's
was that
really good.
again?
She is really good. I would have. You just said that's her first time. Would have
Never
you
known.
You were a liar.
I know, right?
I would never have known.
Yeah, she did a very great job, excellent job in her performance, and that was her first time.
Yeah.
Her first time ever ever acting, never done that.
Yeah.
She's always been a vocalist. And that was really hard because I had someone else before, but this person didn't know how to sing. And that's the reason why I kind of cut that. And plus her stipulations on her contract were a little bit different, that I couldn't do anything. So I went ahead and I called Vanessa and asked her if I could talk to her about something. And she met up with me, and I asked her if she can be the lead role.
Yeah.
And I gave her in a box with a ribbon. I gave her the whole script.
Wow.
It was like about 155 pages of script, and I gave it to her in the box with the bow on it, and told her, "Here is a gift for you if you want to take it."
How long was it for her to decide?
Well, she called me, and and she was thinking about it because she was going through some things herself, and so it wasn't too long, and it wasn't too short either.
Yeah.
I mean, she
was excited about it.
She was excited about it, to take on something like this.
That's good.
And she did very well.
Yeah.
Like I said, most people that were on this film, it's their first time actually taking a lead part.
Yeah.
And that's so hard for anybody to get.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
No, I'll tell you, I can't think of any actor on your film that I didn't believe and that I didn't enjoy watching. I'm looking forward to seeing them in other roles.
Oh, okay.
You got like Big Citric and Jerry Garcia. I want to see them in another film. I want to see what they can do somewhere else, and how
Yes.
what kind of work they can do.
Yeah.
Cristian, I want to see Cristian out there. I want to see all of them out there doing something different.
Yeah. And I hope the film does give them that platform so that people can see, because it is definitely, the film is a reference to them, where people are watching to see, oh, I like the way that person acts, or I like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely a reference for them. It's definitely like a film resume. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's definitely it's your portfolio, right? It's part of your portfolio. That's how you're getting started. So
yes,
it's something to put a notch on your belt, and then go from there. Right?
Yes,
and go,
and perfect yourself.
Exactly.
And I think that's what happens when people they're too critical about whether their performance or something. They look at something. I mean, I've done that as a hair and makeup artist on my own film.
Yeah.
I go, man, I should have done that, or man, why did I do that? And I'm mad at myself as a hair and makeup artist that I didn't really give my best on my own film.
Yeah.
You get me? And so of course I'm being a critic as well. And I think we all are like that.
Yeah.
Whether the light person could have done this, or the camera person could have done that, or the sound person could have done this.
Yeah.
You get me? And, or the editor could have done that.
Right.
As an artist, you look at everything and you're like, God, but that's the advantage of looking at it and say, where can I perfect myself? And that's the important thing. Yeah. How can you perfect yourself? And so it takes a lot of film time to see yourself, not just your first shot.
Oh, of course.
So, but yeah, I think it's what you said about Jerry and Citric, and yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love Citric. He's funny, but I'm glad I got to see another part of him as well. Yeah, most of these comedian, even Mike Gano. Isn't he something? I looked at Mike. I didn't even know he had it. He said he told me, I had so much fun. He told me he had fun.
Yeah.
And then he goes, but you know what? He goes, that would have been me though in real life. I probably would have been the one that snitched.
It was believable. Like I said, I believed every single one of them,
And the way he said it though made me laugh though, because I love Mike. I always call him primo. I always call him cousin. When we first met, and I met him way before the film. I met him way before. I was a makeup artist for this one big old, it was a talk show type thing called Chucky Perez Show.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I was his makeup artist at that time, and we hit it off so well that we became kind of close, like family. And ever since then, we just call each other cousin. And so when I asked him to do this part, because I needed someone to do this part, right? And there's people who don't want to be a certain part.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
There's some people that say, no, I don't want to be that.
No, it's gonna look bad on my image, No.
Like if it's gonna be a rap sheet or something, or if it's gonna be like they're gonna go to prison and have,
what are my
where's your papers? Where your papers at?
Yeah.
I go, this is just a film.
Right.
We just need someone to play the character. It's not gonna be on your rap sheet.
I don't want to be a rat.
Yeah. And so I asked him if he could take this role, because these are the things that actually happened. there was people there.
Right. That witnessed
Yes. And so I asked him, and he said, yeah, you know, and oh my God, he did such a wonderful job, didn't he? Yeah. I was like, and he was all excited because
I ain't going down for this.
Right. Yeah. He thought someone else knew, huh? So yeah, he did really good. And I am not kidding you. You got to go see him at the Laugh Factory. Oh my God, that guy's funny.
I've never seen him.
Oh, he is hilarious. And everything is, he's great. He's a great artist all the way around. Nice. He's a great artist. So, Mike Gano. Mm-hmm.
And so how did you pick your team, all your support, your camera, light guys?
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. I'm glad you asked that. Yeah. I got to give a shout out to Pete Boiler. He's a director, Caucasian man, white man that loves Latino people.
Nice.
Man, I can't even tell you. And he put out a lot of people on film.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. This man, if anybody in Hollywood could take any credit of some of the majority of the Chicanos and Latino people, he's the one that put people on the platform for entertainment.
And his name is
Pete Boiler.
Pete Boiler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's got a couple films coming out as well, like Monstruo, and I forgot the name of the film. Oh my God, I'm so bad about that. I wanted to do a shout out on those movies too.
I'm so bad too with names.
I know.
I'll watch all these films and I'm like, well, who directed that? I don't know. Sorry, I didn't watch.
Yeah. So Monstruo is one, and he did. God, what was that other one? It was like a redemption type. Mundo.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Roga Cop or something like that. Mm-hmm. I hope I said that right. But anyways, forgive me, Pete. Anyways, so Pete actually gave me some referrals.
Okay.
And one of them was Louis.
Oh, okay.
And I met Louis. And then as far as...
shout out to Louis.
I know. Shout out to Louis Sanchez on his camera, you know. And he was so chill. Yeah. My God. I'm glad he was my camera person. Because...
He's a don't panic guy. Like, relax.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And, you know, he's just chill. Yeah. Like, I'm like, hello. It's Louis here. Yeah. Because he's so quiet, you know. And then as far as my sound guy, I got that from another person who referred me to him and actually picked him. And that's Oscar. And Oscar was another chill. Chill. Like, you didn't even know if Oscar was there. I actually didn't even think I even had a crew, because that's how quiet and that's how well they worked together. Yeah. They did. I'm not even kidding you. It was such a chill time with those three. And then Elijah, I got him through George. George is also quiet, but I met George on a movie filming that they were going to do. It's called Ride and Die. And that's pretty much kind of where I met some of the actors as well on that film, because I went in as a hair makeup artist for him. Okay. So I had to cover tattoos. I had to do some blood, and I had to do, you know, some hair and powder, whatever. And on that film, that's when I met George, who was the director. Okay. And George, another guy, real chill, real quiet, very informative, a lot of knowledge, a lot of education, a lot of information behind film. And George actually brought on my director Elijah as a associate type, secondhand man director, type thing or whatever, and assistant director. Okay, so Elijah came in kind of more full force, and actually he came on more of the sets and times, and he was another person that, I mean, talk about creator. Yeah. Things that we had to like at the drop of a dime to create something. Yeah. The way it looked and the back. This guy. Yeah. Yeah.
He's good at their craft.
They're good at their craft. Yeah. Like one time I was on set and I was like, he went to the woman's back room and I seen him like carrying this vase, and I go, "What are you doing with that?" He goes, "I gotta prop up some stuff." I was like, "Oh, okay." Nice. I go, "Good looking out." Yeah, because you don't think, sometimes you as a producer, you don't think of things like that. Right. However, you do kind of.
You can't think of everything.
You can't think of everything. Little things
that someone may have a good. Yeah. And that's good on you that you're allowing someone to. All right. Yeah, that's actually a good point of view. Like, that we can do something like that.
Exactly, and that's what it takes behind the film. These are the things that
a team.
Yes, these are the things that a creator does to enhance what we're building. And so, yeah, what I seen, I was just sitting there, I was not even involved in that film, like watching the film too much.
Yeah.
And because, it was just a short scene type thing. And then I see him I go, where are you going with that?
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing that in the ladies' bathroom.
Yeah.
And I thought, what are you doing in the ladies' bathroom with that? He was coming
How did he know to get it from the ladies' bathroom? That's what I want to know.
He was looking. He was doing everything he can to look for something.
Yeah.
He went to every room to find it just so he could prop it up,
Funny.
as a prop,
Yeah.
And and they told me what he was doing. I go, oh my God, good looking out,
Yeah.
dude. Good looking out. And that's what I loved about this crew is because everybody had their hands in and their ideas together.
Yeah.
Nobody in the crew, and I'm talking about the crew, the sound, the light. I mean, you name them, the crew. No one felt like they were stepping on each other's toes for any form of giving. You know what I mean? Because some people take pride in that, or they get a little offended, or they get a little prideful, like don't tell me what to do. You know, none of them. They were so good.
That's good.
All three of them were really good. So yeah, they were the greatest to work with.
That's good. And then you have some people that go do a job because they know how to do it, and then there's the ones that know how to do it but enjoy it and they're good at it, and
Yes.
they really like doing it,
Yes.
and that's when you get great work,
Yes.
as opposed to someone that's just clocking in, clocking out.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's good that you found a
Yeah,
good
the team was great, and that's how I found the team. In fact, Louis and Elijah and Oscar met for the first time on this production.
Yeah.
I don't think they even knew each other, and so which was great because they all worked so well with each other.
Yeah.
And I wasn't married to my script either for Elijah. Like Elijah, I told him, well, I'm not married to my script, you know. So, I mean, if there's some dialogue that needs to change and you think it's going to sound better, then all right, And it was kind of basically with most of the actors, if the actors didn't feel comfortable, I didn't mind. And that's what a writer does anyways, is we improvise, we sit there. Yeah, it's my story. I'm the one that wrote it. And that there's some words in there that maybe sound too little weak and they want to get a little bit more aggressive with a, maybe a derogatory word.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, go ahead, I guess,
Yeah.
go ahead and use that F-bomb.
Yeah.
I don't care. I
Right.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to make a character look so innocent that character wasn't really innocent or that,
Right.
especially when it comes to domestic violence. When are you going to ever sugarcoat domestic violence?
You
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it had to be as real as possible to gain that energy of that drama that we all understand. Because there's no way that you can walk around and say that domestic violence just was all pretty words and, it's not like that.
It's not
So
snowflakes.
it gets very aggressive. So yeah, there's some things that were changed, as we went.
So speaking of that, this is based on a true story. So I guess two things. Whose story is it? I mean, Sam's story, but who's telling the story, right? And then two, did it get away? Because you said some of them were pretty loose with changing things out. Did it get away from that story, the original?
No,
one?
not really. No, it didn't get away from this story because honestly, I am telling the story based on what I know what happened and what went
your
down.
events. Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I knew
your
all.
knowledge.
I knew it all in detail. I mean, because I've known Sam.
You were there, yeah.
I was there. I was throughout I had been in Sam's life and his mother's life for God, I'm talking about 40 plus years. That's a long time that we invested. I mean, she probably could tell my story. She's also an author of a book called The PK Kid.
Okay.
And so she's also an author, and I could have easily how do you say it? When I was writing, I didn't really even have to ask her anything. That's how much I was flowing as a writer, because I knew Junior. I knew him personally.
Yeah.
I knew Judy personally. I knew what used to happen. I knew her life. So it was very easy for me to bring it all into detail.
Yeah.
And as far as what went down, I knew what happened. I heard the story so many times because I was right there in the trenches with her with signs and making signs and going out there walking and protesting and stuff like that for the injustice of what took place. So I all knew that. When it came, the only thing I can say that I didn't know, to be honest with you, is not that I'm lying to you, but the only thing I didn't have too much information was the YA. So I had to get a co-writer to help me out, and that's Adam Mendoza. Thank you, Adam, for coming aboard on that. Adam Mendoza came in, and he basically wrote the youth authority scenes.
Okay.
which was awesome because we were collaborating a lot about what was going on in the youth authorities in the 90s and even back in the 80s for the longest time. And even up to today, what's going on in the youth authorities. There's a lot of stuff going on. And we think about, you think about sex trafficking. Well, there's a lot of stupid stuff that's going on in the youth authorities right now with Los Padrinos, stuff like that. Yeah. So he took the initiative to go back in time when he was doing time and to pull certain things that took place during that time and created about maybe 20 pages of so that was helpful for me because I didn't have that information and I wanted it to be as true as possible. I didn't want to just
as
make
realistic as it can be, right?
and I told him, I go, bring out as much as you can, even to the point where you have to expose certain things because to me it was like bringing it to the surface, bringing the truth, and stop lying about what's really happening behind the system. And I think it's very important that we bring these things because you know why? Because society, the people, we end up paying all these lawsuits. We pay the lawsuits.
As taxpayers, we pay them.
We pay all the lawsuits that happen. And these are the things that need to be corrected. I'm tired of paying someone else's debt. I'm living, you look at what we're living at in the time right now with the cost of living and everything. That's all the product of all these lawsuits and them taxing us. And we're paying all those bills.
For years, we're going to pay
We've been paying those bills. We've been paying
them and we will be paying them.
Yeah. And so when does it stop? When does it stop? So the only way to stop is bringing in maybe new proposals, new laws. Hopefully after Sam's story, maybe we can propose some new laws. If you look at everything in the film, I mean, there's areas that we could probably make things better in the system.
Of course.
And that maybe that's our target next is to make these things better in the system, bring forth laws, propose some new laws. I hope people take an incentive by watching it that they can step up and propose some laws.
And just to give a little bit of insight on that, watching those YA scenes that you're talking about, you can really do another movie on its own in just those scenes, those scenes. I can see that progressing.
Oh yeah,
because of so much detail that went into it. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're right. I mean, it was a great job on that, adding all that detail, which in reality you could have probably just passed it really quickly and not even, and it still would have been a good film, but just having those, it brings in that realism. You know what I mean?
I had some stuff in there myself that me and my director talked about, and he said, no, we can't do. I go, but why? And there was some things I wanted to bring in, and he said, no, and it's nothing really bad, but at the same time, it needed to be told though. But then it was just timing and money. That's all it was. So, and we had to, that's why you got this gap where it'll say like 8 years later. That 8 years later was those stories. And I couldn't put them in because we had to look at the timing of the movie.
Right.
And I don't want to get anybody to that point where they lose interest. So we wanted to make it to the point where we could just go boom, boom, boom and share the story. Yeah.
See, now I can't personally relate to some of these stories that have went on into this film, but it did pull my strings. This was a film when I first saw the trailer for this, when Louis sent it to me, right away I knew I wanted to somehow either definitely watch it, and two, I wanted to bring someone on, and from the film.
Okay.
And I thought it was very important to bring you in because I mean you have all the knowledge for it, everything, and then maybe down the road we can get some of the actors that come in if they'd like to. But I do want to thank you for that, for making this film. If I can help out in any way in promoting this, I will, and pushing it out there because I think it is important to tell this story, Sam's story. So, wow, yeah, that is crazy. I think we have so much more to talk about. I do want, if you don't mind, I would like to invite you on to come on to another episode.
Yeah,
and we can talk a little bit more about you're from Norwalk. We talked a bit more of your personal life experiences before Sam's crime.
Before Sam's crime,
if you don't mind.
Yes. Yeah. I don't mind at all because, like I said, I relate to Sam, and when I wrote his story, I had many tears, and because I understand PTSD, because I myself was diagnosed with PTSD as myself, and it's a touchy topic, but we need to be educated behind all that. Yeah, we really do.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. Is there anything that you want to leave here for anybody out there? I do want to let everybody know that there is a premiere May 18th.
May 18th.
Are tickets still available for?
Yes,
people
we
to
have
purchase?
about maybe I would say about 140 tickets left for general admission. And we would love to fill out the house with that. And if you guys want to sponsor any youth, really, I think this is an opportunity. If you feel led to sponsor youth, I think this is a really good time for the youth to see this movie. It gives them a lot of information in their time right now, and I think it would be helpful for our youth communities. And if you want to sponsor anybody, I mean, I can give you a lower price, for the ticket, because I just feel like it's a really great message for them.
Of course,
it could save their life.
And all this information, where can they reach that?
They can reach me on Eventbrite. I mean, no, they can actually purchase a ticket through Eventbrite or DM me. If you want that, I'll give you $5 off the $20, but DM me on that one. So I know that you want to sponsor like a group of kids, like anywhere from like 5 to 10 kids.
Okay.
You get me?
Yeah.
So I think it's really important, especially for those who are outreach people for the youth or have youth groups or programs for youth. I think that would be an awesome time to do a field trip on May 18th and bring all the kids in and for the general admission so they can come and see the movie because it's very, it can save their life.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna tag you on down below. That way they know to reach you. But if you can,
Angel Rae, Angel Rae, underscore, like 5 underscores.
5 underscores, right? 5 underscores.
Angel Rae, and it's got we got like a Hawaiian flower on there. Okay. So red Hawaiian flower.
RAE.
Yes, Angel RAE. Yes, definitely.
So, but I definitely will tag you and mention you. That way, if you guys make sure you check the show descriptions down below. That way they can contact you directly to get all that information. But thanks again for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it too.
All right.
Thank
you. You guys take care. This is another episode of The Tap, and we'll see you guys next time. Adios.